Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people. Wherever you are joining us from, we're so glad you join us. If you are new here to this channel, you are most welcome. For those returning, you are also very much welcome. We have been talking about manufacturing opportunities in Africa, going through them country by country. And we knew that at some stage it will make sense now to talk about the machinery, because once you talk about manufacturing opportunities, they need to be accompanied by machinery, because also the aim of this is to increase industrialization in Africa so that we create wealth and we create jobs. So today we're talking about those machineries, different 50 plus machinery, manufacturing machinery and their prices. We will quote you 3 prices where possible, or sometimes 2, one for a smaller machine and for a medium and for a larger one. Please bear in mind that if the machine is small, also the production capacity will be smaller. But you can always start small, maybe supply your own village, and then reinvest all of the profits. Just take what you need to live on, and the rest you reinvest so that you can buy a bigger machinery and can supply and you can supply more than just your village. And also it makes sense to start small, because when you start, you are basically and essentially starting a new product brand that is not known, that the people do not know. So it's best that you start small, and as the demand for your product brand grows, and then you also grow with it, knowing that your production matches the demand. There is a demand for what you're producing. And also the prices that we will quote you, we went on Alibaba.com. They are mostly imported, will be imported from China, and they are the prices for the machinery only. They do not include the transportation cost from China, and in the case of very big machinery, they do not include the cost of assembling the plant. But without much ado, we will start with what we consume in Africa. What we know is already in demand. We eat a lot of maize, yam, cassava, and wheat for bread. For maize, a smaller one will cost you $475. You realize that some of these things really, if we are aware of where to source them, they are doable. We have the means. For a smaller one, maize will be $475. For yam, if you want to mill yam, it will be $2,700. All the prices will be quoted in US dollars. The same thing as cassava is also $2,700. And for a smaller one, if you want to mill wheat, it will be $236. For a very big one, if you now want to start a bigger medium to large factory, it will cost you $240,000. And then also we have a peanut butter making machine. That will cost you, a small one will cost you $1,200. A medium-sized one, $10,000. And a large one will be $37,500 to make peanut butter. And also oil extraction machine, where you extract oil from seeds. It could be sunflower seed, it could also be peanut butter, other types of seed like sesame seeds and all that. Oil extraction machine, it is between $700 and $880, less than 1,000. Now this is what we mean when we say, if you are aware of where to get these things and how much they will cost. Some of these things are doable, so we really can increase industrialization in Africa. They are doable. And then also juice extraction machine. Juice, it makes sense. We need it. And most of Africa, the temperatures are high, particularly that they are high nearly throughout the year, because we are lying, some of our countries are lying around the equator and gets hot throughout the year, so it really makes juice drink, extracting juice from the fruit, a profitable business. It will cost, a machine will cost you between 1,250 and 1,450 US dollars. Also linked to the hot temperatures in Africa is ice cream machinery. It also makes sense that the demand will be high and it will sell. Ice cream making machinery, it will cost you between 820 US dollars and 1,780 US dollars to make ice cream and sell. And then we also have food dehydrator that dries the food, take out the water from the food and makes it dry. You can dry fruits, you can dry vegetables, you can dry fish, and with dried fruits you can make snack bars. You dry the fruits and then you chop them up into smaller pieces. You can mix them, either mix them with granola or mix them with oats and or popped rice or muesli mixed with these dried and chopped fruits, and also add some roasted chopped nuts, and then coat them, maybe mix with honey, but my honey will make it more expensive, and then coat them with melted chocolate to make a snack bars. You can sell that to school kids, you can sell that at sports events and other places. So food hydrator is another one. We dry a lot of fish in Africa. You can use the food dehydrator. I'm sorry, my cat. So you can use food dehydrator to dry it. And then we also have the price of industrial blender, the one that blends different ingredients together at high speed to make one product. You can blend mayonnaise, put all the ingredients that you need and make mayonnaise. You can blend sauces, you can blend salad dressings, you can blend tomato paste. But just with tomato paste, be aware that the blades and even the dish, that the big container, need to be made out of steel. A number of things you can make. For a smaller one, you will pay 650 US dollars. A bigger one will cost you 3,500 US dollars. And then we also have a coffee roasting machine. We produce coffee in Africa, particularly in East Africa. I know Kenya produces coffee, they grow coffee, and I think the biggest producer in East Africa is Ethiopia. And in most cases, we take our coffee as it is and we export it, and the people abroad, they process it further, repackage it and sell it to us. But I think it makes sense that we roast it ourselves. A small machinery will cost you 2,900 US dollars, a medium-sized one 5,500 US dollars, and a bigger one will be 60,000 US dollars. And as we start manufacturing things, we are obviously going to need to need containers, to put them in containers. And so a plastic bottles machine to make plastic bottles for containers, a smaller one will cost you 2,900 US dollars, and a bigger one would be 10,000 US dollars. We also have tea. There are countries that make tea in East Africa. We do have tea growing countries. I've bought one packet of tea from package in Zimbabwe. Tea packaging machinery, a smaller one will cost you 2,800 US dollars, and a bigger one would be 14,800 US dollars. Also, pasta making machine. Apparently the consumption of pasta is growing in some African countries, and there's no need to import pasta. We can make it. It's fairly simple to make. The process is fairly simple. A small one will cost you 309 US dollars. A medium sized one would be 8,900 US dollars, 8,900, and a bigger one would be 17,600. We said you can always start small, reinvest the profits, and grow with your market. And then also cookies and donuts. If we're going to have coffee and coffee shops, usually they go with cookies and donuts and sandwiches and stuff like that. You can make cookies and sell to coffee shops. A smaller machine will cost you $660. A medium sized one will be around 7,600, and a fairly big one will be $9,000. And then also the baker's oven, if you want to bake bread, bake different types and sell. The baker's oven, a small one is $850. Medium sized one will cost you $2,500, and a bigger one would be $7,000. And then we also have toothpaste making machine. There's no need for people abroad to make toothpaste and ship it down to us. We can make it ourselves. And a machine to make toothpaste, a smaller one will be $1,600, and a bigger one would be $60,000. Remember what we said, you can always start small, supply your village, and then you grow from supplying a village to supplying the entire district and maybe several districts within your province. And with time, as you grow, you can even supply the entire province or several provinces. And then we have the industrial slicing machine that would probably be used, most useful to slice potatoes. You can slice tomatoes and sand run them, and you can also slice potatoes and make potato chips, and that will the machine will cost you about $1,100, $1,100. And then we have a popcorn machine. You can make popcorn and sell at different places, sell to school kids, sell at sports events, and even supply some street vendors. It's small. A small one is $65. It's very, very attainable, very doable. And then we have fairly big machines for making different types of snack. A snack making machine would cost you $75,000. The market would need to be bigger for such an investment. And also we have puff corn, where you take corn and you puff it and you add different flavors to it. My favorite is the one with cheese. It will cost you between $25,000 to $30,000. And then we also have a machinery for making lipstick. One of the Kardashian girls made lipstick, and the day that they launched it, they make $6,000. The point I'm trying to make here is that you can make fairly good money from one product. You and I, we don't have big names. We probably will not sell. We will not sell 6 million worth of a product in one day, but probably over a year or over 5 years, and over time you can make fairly decent money from lipstick, because ladies makeup, they say it is one of those products that are recession proof. It will cost you between $1,600 and $2,600, that machine. And then soap making machine. Remember, every morning we wake up, all the people in your village, in your province, in your district, we wake up in the morning, we take a bath. A smaller one will cost you $590 to $3,000. For a medium-sized factory, it will cost you $50,000. Now, if you want to go full-blown make soap for the entire country, maybe even export to a few countries around you, but they will also be making their own soap. That one will cost you $400,000. That's a very big one. I would say 3,001 is a fairly good start. And then we have a deodorant making machine for underarms. You can imagine if you live in a hot, very hot climate where it's constantly hot, that we sweat all the time. We need that. It will cost you between $3,800 and $4,900. But remember, that is just for making the deodorant, not for filling it. You will still need a filling machine, and then you will still need the one, yeah, to pour it into the bottles, and probably also need the one to put on the labels. The filling one will cost you between 4,900 and 8,000 US dollars. And then we also have a detergent making machine to make the detergent that we use to wash our clothes. It could be the powder one or the liquid one. The liquid one seems to be gaining popularity in Africa, and the liquid one, it will cost you 1,600 for a smaller one, 6,000 US dollars for a medium one, and 9,800 for a bigger one. And if you want to go big, that will cost you between 28,000 and 35,000 US dollars. And if you want to like really go big, 50,000 US dollars. And also we have shoe polish machine that makes shoe polish of different colors. That will cost you between 4,500 and 13,000. Just think of the number of people and all the school kids who need shoe polish. 4,500 for a smaller one and 13,000 for a bigger one. And then we have paint making machinery. Construction is gaining popularity, is gaining momentum all across Africa. More and more construction is taking place as we build houses, hotels, building whatever we're building, bed and breakfast and whatever. We need paint, and along with that goes paint. A small machine to make paint will cost you 6,000 US dollars, and you can pay between 6,000 and 8,000 US dollars. Also, we have a dishwashing liquid, the one that we use to wash our dishes. It will cost you between 12,000 and 20,000 to make that. And then we have toilet paper making machinery. To make toilet papers, it will cost you between 4,000 US dollars, and if you want to go medium size, it will cost you 9,000 US dollars. Also with that is the disposable nappy making machine. The population in Africa is small, and we young people are having children. This is another form of business that where you are sure that you will always have a demand. So to make disposable nappies or diapers, a small one will cost you 6,500. But remember that these are just the prices for the machinery, not the materials. The smaller one will be 6,500. A medium-sized one will be 16,000 US dollars. And if you really want to go big, it will cost you 120,000 US dollars. And then going with that also is the sanitary towels for the ladies for their monthly flow. A small one will cost you 1,600 US dollars. A medium one will be between 5,500 and 17,000 US dollars. If you really want to go big, that will be 30,000 US dollars. And then we also have wood cutting material that would go with making furniture, making doors, making door frames, making window frames. Remember, we said that construction is growing in Africa. So along with construction, we will need furniture and doors. A smaller one will cost you 290 US dollars. A medium-sized one will be 5,300 US dollars up to 6,800 US dollars, and that will be the automatic. The smaller one will not be automatic. And then we also have tile making machinery or cutter to make tiles. Obviously, we will need to put something on the floors. It won't just be concrete floors. It will cost you between 10,000 US dollars and 15,000 US dollars to make tiles. And then you can also have make plastic chairs molders. To make those plastic chairs, you can sell them to churches. Most churches are buying them, and we have a lot of churches in Africa, and you can sell them in different places. A smaller one will cost you 1,000 US dollars. A medium-sized one will cost you between 10,000 and 20,000 US dollars. And then, of course, if we say that construction is growing, we need bricks. A brick making machine, a smaller one, will cost you 2,150. A medium-sized one, you will pay between 4,500 and 8,000 US dollars to make bricks. And along with that, also along with building, we need grout. If we are going to put tiles on the floor, we need some adhesive material, we need grout, and that machine to make grout will cost you between 5,800 and 6,500 US dollars, 5,800 to 65 US dollars. And then also we have a lot of cotton. West African countries that are producing cotton, and then to print on fabric printing, it will cost you 700. A smaller one will cost you 700 US dollars, and a bigger one will be 5,500. And then cotton spinner, this is more medium than small really, but it will cost you 50,000 US dollars. Instead of us taking our cotton as it is, exporting it as it is from Africa to some other countries, let's rather spin it ourselves and make fabric here at home, and it will cost you 50,000 US dollars. Then we also have shoe making machinery. Just think of the population in your country, the population on the continent of 1.4 billion people. Making shoes, a smaller machinery will cost you 1,000 US dollars, and a medium-sized one with bigger productivity capacity will cost you between 15,500 and 18,000 US dollars. And then we can also make pens. A large percentage of our population is still in school. There are school-going kids, and there's need books and pens, and the machinery to make pens, it will cost you between, a small one will cost you 5,800 US dollars, medium-sized one will be 7,800, and a bigger one will cost you 13,000 US dollars. And also exercise book. Obviously with pens we need something to write on. Exercise book making machine, it will cost you between 12,500 US dollars and 14,600. A large population of Africa, they are in school. They're still school going kids who need these things. So there is a market. You are assured of productivity in this kind of a business. And then we also have a suitcase, traveling suitcase. They are a bit expensive. This one, a smaller one, you would the machinery to make that would cost you between 20,000 and 25,000 US dollars. For bigger one, you would pay between 70,000 and 130,000. I think the more doable one is more on the 20 to 25,000. And then makeup making machine for the ladies. We say that makeup is one of those things that are recession proof. Ladies, we always want to look nice. A smaller one will cost you 5,800 US dollars, and a bigger one, if you want to go like full blown and produce for the whole country, it will cost you 35,000 US dollars. And then we have a rug making machine, making rugs and carpets on the floor. The small one is handheld, and it's obviously not, it doesn't use a lot of electricity. It's 115, highly doable. 515 US dollars. And then for a medium-sized one, it is 15,000 US dollars, and for a bigger one, that is 90,000 to 300,000. I would say the more doable ones is between 115 and 15,000 US dollars. And then the one for making pots, the pot that we cook in, instead of taking that metal and hammering it the whole morning trying to shape it into a pot, and it will probably take you the whole morning, so productivity is very low. Whereas if you do it with a machine, within a minute it is shaped. You have shaped that metal into a pot. It will cost between 8,000 and 9,000 US dollars. That is why we need to industrialize in Africa. because in the industrialization or the use of machinery, it improves productivity. You produce a whole lot more in one day than you would if you were to sit there hammering that metal into a shape. It will cost between 8,000 and 9,000 US dollars. And then making paper plates, we sell a lot of street foods, which is very, very nice and very, very tasty. Paper plate making machine, a small one will cost you 4,800, and then for a bigger one you can spend up to 10,600. And then cutlery making machinery, making knives, forks, spoons, also it shapes it within a minute. Within no minute, it has shaped it into a fork and knife and spoon. You will spend between 8,000 and 12,000 US dollars to make cutlery. And then bottling, glass bottles, a machine that will make glass bottles, because it could either be glass bottles or plastic bottles, but the glass ones, you will spend 5,000 US dollars to get that machine and start making the bottles. And then the toothbrush, making our own toothbrush instead of importing them, that will cost you between 10,000 and 20,000 US dollars to make brushes. Can make them and supply the whole district or supply the whole country. And then the one to make hair brushes will cost 7,000 US dollars. And food containers, please forgive me, I live next to a railway line. To make food containers, that will cost 6,000 US dollars. And then as we produce more things and we put them in bottles and we need to transport them from where we made them to the end buyers, we need to package them in boxes. The packaging boxes or moving boxes, the machinery to make those boxes will cost between 4,500 US dollars, and a bigger one will cost you 15,000 US dollars. 4,500 to 15,000. And then making socks, a machine that will make socks. We said 35 to 50% of our population, they are school going kids. They are still in school, they wear uniform, they need socks. A small one will cost you, the machine will cost you between 2,500 and 3,400, 2,500 to 3,400. And also it's hot in Africa. The sun, to protect our eyes from the sun glare, some people would prefer to wear goggles or sunglasses to protect their eyes. And to make plastic eyewear, the machine will cost you between 9,500 and 11,400 to make those sunglasses. And then to make wigs, because almost everybody these days is wearing wigs. To make wigs, a smaller machine will cost you between 179. That's very, very doable. You don't need to go take a loan. $179 to 500, and a bigger one will cost 2,700 US dollars. And also nail polish. Remember, we said that these lady beautifying things, they are recession proof. To make nail polish, a smaller one you would need 500 US dollars to invest. A medium sized one would be 3,350, and a bigger one you would need 7,500 to make nail polish. And then to make perfume, and for the ladies, and cologne for gentlemen, a smaller one will cost you between 790, it's less than 1,000. I think it's very doable. 790 up to 1,450 for a smaller one. And if you want to go big, a bigger one would cost you 6,800 US dollars. And then umbrella making, we have heavy rain seasons. We have rainy seasons where it will rain incessantly for days, and there's a need for umbrellas and raincoats. And to make plastic umbrellas, a smaller machine to make those smaller umbrellas, handheld one, you would need 360 to make that umbrella. I think that is also doable. And for the raincoat, you would need a machine of 1,200 to make plastic raincoats, and then also to make hats and to make caps. And a lot of people who like caps. A smaller machine, it will cost you $3,800, and for a medium, for the hats, it will cost you between 3,500 and 6,000. Again, it is hot throughout the year. We go outside, we need to protect ourselves from the sun a bit, need to wear a hat. For the hats, it will cost between 3,500 and 6,000 to the machinery to make the hats. And then also we have the machine to make car stickers, and I think with this machine you can also make labels, like when somebody makes sauces and they need labels for their bottles. This kind of machine is not only for car stickers, you can also make labels where people can put the labels on their products. A smaller one will cost you 650, also less than 1,000. In my opinion, is very, very doable. We can do this. And for a bigger one, you would need $3,500. And lastly, we have the one, it's not all, but it's what we could come up with for this video, to make serviettes or napkins. Other people call them napkins, we call them serviettes, for after eating, to wipe your greasy fatty hands. That machinery to make serviettes, it will cost you 2,800 to make them. This is what we could come up with. My advice would be that these machines, we got them from Alibaba. Alibaba itself is a hub where all these the producers, they record them. But the nice thing is that on Alibaba, these are verified. The producers of this machinery, they have been verified. But if my advice is, if the machinery is a bit high, a bit expensive, like 10,000, 30,000, my advice would be, if the budget allows it, rather travel to China, meet with the producers, learn from them how it works, and ask questions about things like the warranty, what happens when it breaks down after a year, whether they would, and whether they will be able to send you the parts that is missing, and how long it will take to send the parts, and the after sales support that they give. For a smaller one, it may not be, like if you're going to buy a machinery of 650 and then spend more than 650 to go to China, it doesn't make sense. But for a bigger machinery, it would be good to meet with the producer and to make sure that your machinery is packed and it's shipped down to you. So wonderful people, we want to create jobs in Africa. These and some of these things, we can see that from the price of the machinery, it is very doable. We can mechanize, and as you mechanize, you are creating wealth and you are creating a job for one or two other people. And manufacturing, it is always a catalyst for other businesses. Like if you produce something, you need to sell it, so it creates a product for retailers to sell, and we keep money circulating within our economies instead of importing what we are able to make and taking money outside our country. We keep money circulating in a country. We create jobs for a few people. Even if you employ 2 people, don't look down on it and think that it doesn't make a difference. If 1,000 or if 1,000,000 people start these small businesses in one country and employ 2 people, 2 million people are employed. If those 2 million people take care of 3 other people, of 2 other people and 3 people live on their salary. 6 million people have their livelihood improved. So the little bit that you do, it makes a difference. You are the agent of change that your country needs. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave your country. Don't go to London. Don't go to Canada. Don't go. I know you'll be very angry with me for saying this. Don't go to the USA. Stay in your country and do business. Take up a manufacturing business. You will make more money in your country than you would make in a first world country. My plea is that we are the ones to make a difference in our countries. We are the ones to make a difference in Africa. We are the agents of change that can bring Africa out of the position that it is in and rewrite a better narrative for our economies and for employment in Africa. You are the able and capable agent of change. And capable, able agent of change, please stay and do the job. Talking will not do anything, will not do much, but it is taking action. Take action, buy this machinery, do business and make money, and I wish you all of the best in the future. And see you in the next video. And I love you all. Bye.